Touchdown, Kansas City. That's right. We're bringing in the voice.
How was that?
What'd you think?
Kind of embarrassing, probably?
Yeah, no.
It was better than Liam Cohen's Duval. We'll say that.
Imitation, the highest form of flattery. Imitation, the highest form of flattery. Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us here.
I just got Northwestern denied him in Mission.
Yeah.
SAT.
It didn't work out. So this is the man who will be calling the action on you. But you've been with the Chiefs for 20-plus years. And
31.
31.
Yes, sir.
31 years. Okay. So, and I worked in KC from 09 to 11. There was the Todd Haley era. You got, right. Made the playoffs. It was sweet. Chiefs fans were going crazy. And now, of course, you guys are like the greatest dynasty in the history of the sport. Bears, as a Bears fan, I look at Kansas City like Kansas City was there was no way out, could never figure out the quarterback. It was never going to work. Chiefs fans would have thought they would have never seen it. So you could talk to Bears fans and say, hey, it actually can happen. You can get through the muck here. Can help us, Mitch.
Oh, yes, it can. But I would say the Bears need to do what the Chiefs did in 2013, and that is restructure how they do business. And that meant for years there was the ownership, the Hunt family, and then there was like GM guy. I call it the Wizard of Oz. And that changed. With Andy Reid, it became Andy Reid working side to side, direct report to ownership with GM, with the president of the team, Mark Donovan. It became this flow horizontally and vertically throughout the entire organization of respect, understanding, check your ego at the door. How are we going to win? Every day, how do we win? And does that mean we're going to, maybe I got to back up a little bit on what I want to do to figure out what you want to do? It changed everything. And the culture started to change within weeks. Because we started 9-0 after being 2-14. Again, we were bottom. We were algae. We were phytoplankton. That's the lowest organism in the ocean. And we started 9-0 the next year with a group that not going to be in the Hall of Fame much. But it was that infrastructure change.
So it was I'm assuming that was when Andy came in, right?
Yes, sir.
So, the Bears aren't going to change that. They're vertical, and they insist on being vertical. However, and I know Ben Johnson hasn't been a coach like Andy Reid was a coach for a long time before he got to the Chiefs, but there does seem to be this sort of shift with Kevin Warren, the president, being like, kind of like the Chiefs. We're going to go out and get the guy, and we're going to listen to everything he has to say. I am sensing some of that with the Bears, that they're serious this time.
Well, and they got Ryan Poles, right?
Yeah.
So he was with us. He knows. He's got the recipe. He's got the secret sauce. And that's where Kevin has to kind of almost take the role of saying, all right, we're not going to do everything that I want to do if it's not the right thing to do. So what's the right thing to do to win? To win. It's not, me trying to get a better position in the company, whatever. It's let's win. So that means Poles, Kevin, working together with Ben, which I think is a very good hire. You've added some pieces to his staff. We were talking like who Ben has added to the staff. Yeah. There becomes then this horizontal energy that you have to have. Andy Reid is like that. Brett Veach is like that. The Hunt family is like that. And the Hunt family doesn't get near enough credit because this is the second generation. And Clark Hunt in specific, the chairman and CEO, had to figure out what am I going to do to get Andy Reid, because it was a land rush to get him. Oh, we got to redo things here. And it just opened the door. I see the Bears on the verge of doing it, but now you've got to do it.
Right. And when Ben Johnson walked in the door of Hallis Hall for the first time, we've been begging for a coach to command the room. And not just command the locker room, but command the room of Hallis Hall, because it kind of takes you over and now you got to be the way they are. Ben Johnson walks in and says, everything we do, he's talking to the entire staff as they're clapping for him, everything we do is for the players in that locker room. Now they bring in a guy like Eric Bieniemy, right, and that you're familiar with. We needed strong voices. Last year, everything seemed to fall apart. So I'm curious your perspective on what you saw with Eric Bieniemy when he was with the Chiefs.
He also knows the secret sauce, but he's also the guy when you get off the plane in San Diego at Marine Corps Basic, he's the drill sergeant waiting for you at the bottom of the ramp, and your life just changed. EB is awesome in the fact that he doesn't care who you are, how long you've been in the league. He knows what it takes to win, and he's going to get you to that spot, even if you don't particularly like it. Let me back up a second. One of the secret sauces for us, and EB knows this, Mahomes has his own OTAs before we have OTAs. And OTAs for us isn't playing disc golf and having Madden tournaments. There are guys canceling OTA practices. Or some agent tells a guy, you don't have to go to OTAs. Don't go. You'll work out here. Nope. BB will tell you that. No, OTAs, and you attack them. You don't buzzkill them. And then you attack mandatory mini camps. It's not just something to do in the summer. It's not vacation Bible school. You attack it. And then you attack camp. And every day matters. And you attack camp because you attack September. Because for us this season, the playoffs started the first snap of the first game against Baltimore. We knew nobody even had to say a word about three-peat. No T-shirts, no posters, but everybody knew. But our culture is that every day matters. There's time to take off. You'll have fun to go to the beach, but when you're here for OTAs in camp, you better lock it up and go. And that's what EB will bring to you guys.
Hell yeah.
So you brought up Mahomes and that work ethic. I remember watching the quarterback show a couple of years ago, and it just blew my mind. Gets through a whole day of work. It's like the middle of the season. I think it was late in the season. And he goes to another gym and works out, like at 9, 10 o'clock at night when he was done with all the stuff he already practiced that day. He had done all this stuff. Is that? I mean, we're trying to figure out where Caleb Williams, as he matures into a pro, if that's going to kick in at some point. Was Mahomes always like that, or did he have to figure that out a few years into his career before you saw that version of him?
Pat will admit it. Coach will talk about it, but the apprentice year that he had with Alex Smith was very influential for him. Now, coming out of Tech, one of the things I've learned being around Pat is he's got a really close group of guys around him that are from Tyler, Texas, some from Tech that are his inner circle that are really good for him. These are good dudes, right? And Pat, that's part of Pat's foundation. But Pat also has the ability to make all of us better. He's going to he might get after you a little bit, but he's going to lift you up. But his apprentice year that he had, he needed that. Now, Caleb didn't get the apprentice year.
You got the opposite.
He got the opposite. We're going to throw you into that. And that right now, unless you're Jaden Daniels or maybe C.J. Stroud, but even C.J. Stroud now, the second year, got the crap beat out of him.
Yeah.
And he slid back from the first year. So it's a nurturing and surrounding Caleb. And it's surrounding Caleb and bringing him along. Dude, you don't have to birdie 12 at Amen Corner. We're going to win the Masters eventually, but let's go win some lesser tournament. We've got to build you up gradually, but it's also beyond football. We have got to have you mature. One of the biggest parts of this team that people have missed, of this 24 Chiefs team, has been how emotionally and mentally mature they are. There's a physical giftedness to them, but these guys are tough, but they're also mature mentally. The 22 draft class. Ask Poles about them. Pull Poles aside and go, what about the 22 draft class? Now, this is the Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie, Brian Cook. 8 draft picks still all on the team. All are flourishing, includes Pacheco. And then they added Jack Cochran as an undrafted free agent. That's 9 dudes from that class that are lug nuts on this wheel that have led to back-to-back and a chance to make all-time history. People overlook that. But it's nurturing and getting guys and surrounding Caleb and working on his mental and emotional maturity as much as learning that playbook. And EB will help with that too.
Well, one of the best ways to nurture a quarterback is having a good offensive line, right? And I know a lot of the NFL is looking at what the Chiefs are going to do with Trey Smith, so I'm curious, what you've seen from him, throughout his tenure at Kansas City, coming as a 6th-round pick.
This will answer your question. I have a granddaughter who's in 5th grade. Her favorite player is Trey Smith. Up in her room is just 65 stuff. If we lose him, I don't even want to go see her to tell her, because I'll actually weep when he's gone. He's a pillar of our team. So is Creed Humphrey. But that goes back to Brett Veach has been very underrated, his staff, of what he's done to draft, because Creed Humphrey might be the best center in the league now that Kelsey's retired, Jason Kelsey. But Trey Smith's incredible. He is the nicest dude, but he will drill you into the earth. He will take you down 6 feet under and put dirt on you. Might help you out, but he's going to put you right back in that hole again. And this offensive line has been outstanding. Joe Tooney has had to move out to left tackle because we were struggling at left tackle, but Tooney's been outstanding out there. But it's also a very close-knit group that's this horizontal vibe that you've got. And so Trey Smith's unreal. I don't want you guys to take him, but we're also in how we've been able to win consistently over basically 12 years of 12 straight winning seasons, especially these last 7 in 5 Super Bowls where we draft last waiver claim. That's again goes back to the comprehensive nature of the organization. You got to go find dudes.
Yep.
And so we found them. Trey Smith's awesome.
So you would in no way, shape, or form be afraid to give him the most money of any guard in the history of the NFL. If it worked out that Kansas City couldn't hold him, you're the Bears, you got to pay him 20, 21, 22. How would you feel about that if you had the cap space to do it?
Poles will also tell you the new general manager of the Tennessee Titans is Mike Borgonzi, who was with us, and he needs an offense. He's the same guy with you. So, I don't know. You might want to drive around town and take collections. And somebody will back up the truck. Guards, you have to be careful to overpay. Tooney, we paid a lot for Tooney, but Tooney's a left tackle as well. He's like got this second role. He's got 2 jobs. Trey's not a left tackle. He's not a center. He's not a right tackle. But Trey will someday be general manager of a team. You got to understand how bright he is, how awesome he is. My hometown is a small town in north central Kansas. I do a fundraiser every year. He's been up there twice.
Wow. Yeah, we talked to him for
he was awesome.
3 minutes the other night, and he was impressive.
If he's not president of the United States, will be his sister, Whitney. She'll be president of the United States. Spend 10 minutes with her sometime, and you'll go, why isn't she like president or governor or something?
Well, before we let you go, I am curious about the game itself, going for the 3-peat, and obviously it was a pretty close game last time around. And so I'm curious, obviously I know you guys
we know Fangio well.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a different element
Matt Nagy.
this time. Yeah, exactly.
They spent a little time in Hallis Hall
that's
together.
True. So, what is your anticipation of the game?
And by the way, you guys won't like this, but I'm going to defend Matt Nagy to all you all out there.
We do too, Well,
they think I was up there doing basketball, right? I'd go up there a lot, loyal, and I'd be on shows, and they're like, oh no, he's not an idiot. The guy is super bright. If Parkey makes the field goal, who knows what that team's going to do? And I know the Saints game wasn't good, but he got that team to the playoffs. All right. That being said, I'm going to thank you for firing him because it was the perfect timing for Pat to get his caddy back.
Okay.
Because that's Pat's caddy. He's telling him go 7-iron right here. And so I will tell you that. Now let's go to the game. What Philadelphia has done, they're very different than Super Bowl 57. Very different. In the fact that they have gone against general football feeling in that they have made the running game explosive. Like you got to throw to win, right? You got to throw to win. Not the Eagles. With Barkley. With Barkley having 7 runs of 60 yards or more, it's an all-time NFL record. But 4 of those were against the Rams and 2 against the Commanders. Scheme, personnel, he's good. He's really good. The Chiefs have allowed 50-yard runs 3 times in 4 years. 6 and 6.
Wow.
So, home run hitter. I'm not giving bulletin board material, but you got to hold them to singles. They're 29th in the league in passing, the Eagles. They're only the second team in Super Bowl history to make the game, being the bottom 5 passing in the league. The other was the 82 Dolphins. That was a strike year. I don't say that to cast aspersions. I'm just telling you that's what the Eagles are.
And Steve Spagnuolo knows that too, right? And he's going to try to scheme up a way
too.
Bit.
I hope so.
A little bit.
I would hope
I'm
so.
I'm just telling you the narratives about our team of getting all the calls, and it's infuriating because it's taken away from what's made this team great. And winning 17 one-possession games, if the Cubs win 17 one-run games, you're going, God, that's a strong team. Football, you got to win 41-7.
Right.
Well, wait a minute. The Eagles won 9 one-possession games.
Yeah. And we learned here in Chicago, we're the opposite end of the one-score game. So as Bears fans, we sell, well, hey, look at all these one-score games if we just flip. And that's what's key is how good you guys are in the situational moments in the fourth quarter that define win or loss.
It's the Cubs or Sox hitter with runners at second and third and 2 outs, down 1, who hits the gap double that wins the game. And you might have struck out 3 times prior to that. So
it's not the White Sox hitter then.
Well, anyway, that's another. But this Chiefs team is the most comprehensive team I think Andy has had. So from all 3 phases, they've blocked field goals. They've had 63-yard punt returns and 40. Keep in mind, Toub, hero of your run, right?
We love Toub.
We love Toub.
We love Toub.
Toub wins games. Toub wins games. But we're going to come at you with the whole recipe book, not just Mahomes or Kelsey.
Do you think they were actually? I know you got to go over here, but do you think they were pacing themselves as far as play calling and whatnot? My guy Nick Rice talked about this. Like, hey, they didn't. They literally held things back so they would have their best plays in the best moments. And I'm listening to this. I don't. You're there every day.
Yeah.
Do you think that's accurate? That they're like, we're not going to show you this because we're going to need it in the AFC Championship game. We're going to use it in the Super Bowl.
And maybe this is answering to the affirmative, but I will just. There's over 800 plays in this iPad. So that's why I'm telling you they work so hard in the off season because they're bringing Calc 3 or a series and differential equations. It's the whole, the overused analogy of chess versus checkers. But if you're saving something because you're only saving it because it's opponent specific for this game, we're getting everybody's best shot. That's another cliche. But here they come. You want to find something? Go look at the last 5 years and look at teams the week after they play us and look at their record. Why? They're loading all the canister into us.
Sure.
And it takes so much to prepare for us because of the complicated nature of the way we play defense and offense that I throw so much into it the next week, I don't have much. So when you're coming after me all the time with all you got, I'm going to figure out what I need to get this win. Does that mean holding back? Maybe. But it's really, again, just the volume of what the Chiefs can attack you with.
Well, 31 seasons covering Kansas City, 21 without a playoff win. So congrats on finally hitting the moment where you get to have fun talking about the team. But people may not know, you said you called college basketball, up in Illinois, and that's with one David Kaplan. So before you go, I need some dirt on David Kaplan that's on the record.
Well, the time I bailed him out of the prison,
it
was the Mexican prison. We had to do a game, and I don't know why we were in Matamoros, and I couldn't get him out. Like it was it. I thought that's it. We won't see Cap again. But Cap, has 9 lives.
He does.
He's just, he just like it's the turtle on the middle of the Dan Ryan. That's that's going to die, and then Cap just pops up. Cap's a but. He would also steal my homework, right? He's coming in at the last second. We're going to do a game.
There's the dirt.
So I'm ready to go. And Cap's like, what do you got there? Yeah. And so Northwestern, you're stealing my homework. What are you doing, buddy?
That's awesome. The ultimate strategist he knows how to get it done.
He does. He's awesome.
Mitch, we appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy the game.
So much.
Yep.